I think we can jump straight into what this remake does different and what it aims to accomplish, because at this point everyone knows what Silent Hill 2 is. But in case you don't, all you need to know is that it came out in 2001 and James Sunderland gets a letter from his dead wife Mary telling him to meet her in Silent Hill, and that's really it. Everything else is just unnecessary spoilers. Now for the remake. It is made by Bloober Games, who made games like Layers of Fear. Aside from the obvious graphical overhaul, which looks amazing, the biggest change is likely the camera. Instead of those fixed camera angles from the original, it is now over the shoulder, kind of like the recent Resident Evil remakes. From what we have seen, the atmosphere is honestly off the charts in this game. I expected a lot here, since it's Bloober Games, but so far the gameplay surpassed my expectations. The music is composed by none other than Akira Yamaoka. The remake has all the unsettling sound effects. Now couple the music and sound design with the graphical quality, especially the volumetric fog and ray tracing, and I think we can say the atmosphere is a massive strength. In addition to this, I have to mention how cool it is that the game manages to guide players without actually guiding them. What I mean by that is if you take a look at this particular footage right here, you can see that the cans are visibly rustling, not just for the atmosphere and realism, but also to provide a very subtle hint to go there, even if it is received unconsciously by the player, which is probably the ultimate goal by the developer. This is so much better than a compass or a dozen pointers and markers on your screen. The combat has seen some changes, of course. I'm still not completely convinced by the impact sounds, but I understand that the developers don't want to make it too action-packed, because that's not really what Silent Hill is about. Still, they have added a dodge button and an aiming reticle. I think they nailed how James sounds. The voice actor does a great job at actually sounding frightened and exhausted. He conveys that "just die, you piece of shit" thought that's probably going on in his head. Something people have been worried about is that Bloober Games would hold back a bit when it comes to gore and disturbance, but I think we can eliminate these thoughts when we look at this scene. They said they have to handle cutscenes a bit different, because they want to make the entire game seamless. But here's the problem. The original actually used clever loading screens at certain spots to build tension, so they said they rely on sound design a lot here. For example, you might hear characters or monsters way in the distance, before you even spot them. If you are playing on PlayStation 5, they are using all of the controller features, like haptic feedback and triggers, changing light bar, and the game has 3D audio as well. The consensus for the developers is basically to preserve what must be preserved and modernize what must be modernized. And so far it looks like they found the right balance. It is worth mentioning that the remake lets us visit some areas that were previously inaccessible. Now the standard version costs a whopping €70 on Steam, but we can see that Bloober Games has given the everything here. People were really skeptical and at times disrespectful with the first reveals back then, and I think the developers showed successfully what their potential is. And that sentence concludes today's video. If your time was respected, a like or comment is very much appreciated.